We've been told that connecting technology to the internet is progress, but what if some of the smart devices we now use are actually reducing our contentment? Today I want to explore the surprising value of disconnected technology, devices that cannot connect to the network. If you're new here, you should know that I'm not anti-internet, anti-digital, or anti-technology in any way. And this video isn't about following the trend for digital detoxes. I see those as beneficial but short-term fixes that don't address the underlying problems caused by connected technology. No, I'm making this video because I want to highlight something fundamental that I think we're ignoring. The question of whether some of the things we use actually need to be online at all, and if connecting everything to the internet is actually making our lives worse. If you're feeling the pressure of connected living, then I'm sure this video will interest you. So enough of the intro, let's dive in. When a device gains internet connectivity, it almost always becomes more capable. It can do more, access more information, and communicate with other devices. Objectively, that is an improvement. It would be hard to argue that it's not. More capability almost always results in a more powerful piece of technology. But within this lies a truth that I think we've failed to properly grasp as a society. Better technology doesn't automatically lead to a better human experience. It's a common misconception that improving a product automatically improves the life of anyone using it. But that's simply not the case. Obviously, more capable tech can make our lives better, and in many cases it does, but not always. Take the humble wristwatch, first mechanical, then digital, but for most of its history, completely disconnected. It had just one job to do, and it did it brilliantly, showing us the time whenever we looked at it. But about 15 years ago, the watch's role started to change. It suddenly found itself promoted from a simple job on the front desk to running the whole damn company. Today, many people wear watches that deliver messages, emails, breaking news, reminders, and health updates. Now, considering how small these things are, that's an extraordinary feat of engineering. I'll be honest with you, it blows my mind. And when judged by their functionality, smartwatches are clearly more capable devices. They're incredible bits of kit. But their newfound capabilities mean that they now interrupt our conversations. They distract us from meals and remind us of work when we're trying to relax. Somewhere along the way, our watches were added to an ever-growing list of devices that crave our attention. Yet another machine asking something from us throughout each and every day. Look, technology companies naturally optimize products, and watches have never been immune to that. I'm old enough to remember the 90s when it was seriously cool to own a watch that could do something like change TV channels, tune into a radio station, or even store people's phone numbers. Yeah, I was one of those kids that was really proud to walk around the playground with a watch with only 2 phone numbers in it, my own house and my nan and granddad's. Companies have to innovate. They're continually competing to sell more products. More functionality equals more sales. We can't blame them, and to be honest, we shouldn't. We should celebrate it because tech evolves due to this process and it improves all of our lives in various ways. But we have to view all this alongside the internet, which has acted and continues to act as a powerful framework that's altered our relationship with technology. That and the miniaturization of computer chips, processors and batteries has dramatically changed what's possible over the past 30 years. In response, I think that we need to start being critical about how, when and where we allow connected technology into our lives. In the same way that companies are driven to optimize products, we need to optimize something far more important: our individual human experience. One or two connected devices would be unlikely to impact us that much, but our homes are now filled with them. Doorbells notify us when someone walks past the house or walks up to our front door, forcing us to check that everything's okay. Connected apps mean that washing machines can now tell us when our clothes are clean, and fridges can alert us if the door's been left open. Each of these features sounds useful in isolation, and they can be, but together they create an army of technology constantly asking something of us. And they create a huge list of things that we now need to monitor. We no longer live in silent homes surrounded by silent objects like we used to. Today, houses and devices have become like interactive staff that nag us to make managerial decisions every 5 minutes. They ask us to oversee security, administration, and review their every output. Sometimes they even disturb us just to gather data for the companies that made them. Remember, these are supposed to be our possessions. We bought them, we paid for them. They're not people that we owe something to. But they act like small entities pleading with us to be charged and connected to our ecosystem. It would all be hilarious if it wasn't so ridiculous and, I think, silently damaging. Something different but equally troubling has happened with our entertainment. Algorithms have become incredibly good at showing us exactly what we already like. Spotify knows our music tastes and Netflix knows what films we're into. Most people's YouTube accounts knows pretty much everything about their interests. All that's really convenient, and so I, and probably you as well, have embraced these features to help us choose what we consume. But it's important to realise that convenience has replaced the growth that we once experienced through exposure to things we didn't know we'd be interested in. Radio once introduced us to songs we would never have chosen to listen to. Television occasionally forced us to watch documentaries about stuff we didn't care about because nothing else was on. Now, while you might be sitting there thinking, good, I'm glad it's not like that anymore, those unintentional experiences actually mattered. They widened our interests, challenged our assumptions, and exposed us to worlds we would never have chosen by ourselves. Personalisation is the complete opposite of that. It only ever gives us more of what we already are. This shift in our relationship with entertainment has made us forget that what we want and what we need aren't always the same thing. And as most of us now only watch, listen and consume through internet-enabled devices, we only ever see what fits narrowly into our established areas of interest. Recently, I've started running a small experiment on myself, not to try to reject connected technology entirely, but to become more intentional about how I use it. To start, I bought a digital watch that can't be connected to the internet. It basically tells me the time, but other than that, it stays out of my business. I also bought an old analog radio. This is so that instead of always being fed what I like through my digital devices, I can allow chance to influence what I hear. In addition, when I want something new to watch, like a film or TV show, I've started focusing on what other people recommend to me instead of relying on algorithms. And people's suggestions have surprised me in ways recommendation engines rarely do. As a result, I've seen some really good stuff. A friend recommended a film called Perfect Days. I highly recommend it to you. It's great. I've even found myself buying TV magazines again. Magazines that don't know me or my partner. The shows and movies that they feature aren't tailored to us, and I really like that. None of these changes are dramatic, and none of them have required very much effort at all. But together they act as important little pockets of disconnection throughout the day. Situations where algorithms can't try to optimize me, notify me, or attempt to keep me engaged. Living as we do in a hyper-connected world, you could say this is just pointless. It's like firing arrows at a 50,000-ton battleship. But I disagree, because it does create a valuable psychological shift, one that helps me to feel like I have a bit more agency over what I see and do. Connected technology isn't an enemy that needs to be vanquished. Much of it has improved our lives, and I wouldn't want to lose the genuinely helpful, useful things that the internet has made possible. But I do think we've reached the point where we should stop trying to ensure that every device is connected and start asking which ones need to be. Disconnected devices have boundaries. They perform the job they were designed to do and nothing else. One thing I especially like is they don't shapeshift into something different through software updates or new features. And there's something genuinely calming and really quite nice about technology that you know will always remain exactly as it was on the day you bought it. No new features, no new abilities that encourage us to communicate with them every 5 minutes. Because sometimes the most valuable device in the room is the one that just does its job and then shuts up and leaves you alone. Maybe peak contentment in the future won't be found in owning more intelligent technology. Maybe it's found in creating a tech ecosystem where most of the devices that we use and rely on aren't vying for our attention at all. In any case, that's what I'm aiming towards because I'm already seeing the benefits that a less connected environment can bring. Or I should say I'm being reminded of them. I was born in 1980. I had a good 20 years before the internet really started to impact things. I hope this video gave you something to think about. That's always my goal. If these ideas resonate with you and you'd like to discuss your use of technology, drop a comment below. Most importantly, take these thoughts away, question them, disagree with them if you like, but see where they take you. And perhaps reflect on whether integrating some disconnection into your life could improve your day-to-day experiences. As always, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you again in the future.